Hey Moo Crew! So last week we had the meat heavy, dairy heavy keto diet, and this week we're looking at a lifestyle that could not be more opposite if it tried with the vegans. My prediction before we get started is that most people will eat way fewer calories and it will generally be high carb, not high fat. Let's see if I'm right.
Welcome back to another vegan what I eat in a day. I start off my day with caffeine, an iced oat milk latte, and then
This is the exact drink I have every morning. Obviously the black coffee is no calories, then this is the Oatly barista version and 200 milliliters is 122 calories.
breakfast I made fruit cereal, which is a bunch of fruit topped with granola, chia seeds, hemp seeds, oat milk, and almond butter.
I feel like that lady on TikTok that thought her sofa was blue and it was actually grey, because I swear that first Oatly was the grey barista one, but this one looks like the blue semi-skimmed version and I've just lost all ability to see a difference. So the semi-skimmed version is slightly less calories at 96. She has a handful of berries for 44 calories and a banana for 105. This is all topped with about half a cup of granola. We don't know the brand, but they range between 250 and 350 calories, so I have just gone straight in the middle, plus a tablespoon of chia seeds and a tablespoon of flax seeds for 124 calories, and finally a tablespoon of almond butter for 98. This breakfast added up pretty quickly to almost 800 calories.
Then I made some nachos for lunch. These had beans, veggies, vegan ground beef, cashew cheese, and then I had a mid-afternoon hot tea while I read my book. And for dinner,
This looks like a baked tortilla to me rather than chips, so that's 122 calories. She doesn't show any packaging, and obviously there's lots of brands of vegan food, so I've looked at a few for the beef and I'm just going to go for the average, which is 126 calories. The cashew cheese is a homemade recipe and 4 tablespoons would be around 200 calories. Then lastly, she's got some mixed veggies of peppers and onions for 50 and a tablespoon of salsa for 10.
I made hidden veggie pasta. The sauce has tons of veggies and cashews. I also made chickpea pasta for extra protein and topped it with vegan parmesan, of course, and then finished off the night with a kombucha while I watched The Summer I Turned Pretty.
I'm assuming she shared her dinner with someone, so I'm halving everything she's shown. So for 1 pepper, 1 tomato, half an onion and half a courgette, it's 91 calories. She's got about a cup of cashew nuts in the blender, so half of that is 195. This sauce looks really good. I would honestly try it, but maybe substitute the cashew nuts for some non-dairy cream. The chickpea pasta is lower calorie than wheat pasta for 190 calories per serving, and she sprinkles on about 5 grams of vegan parmesan for 20. Finally, half a bottle of this raw kombucha juice is 30 calories, which makes the total intake for the day 1,921 calories.
Here's everything I ate in a day as a vegan. I woke up and it was freezing in the house, so I made a delicious, comforting hot bowl of porridge. I topped it with frozen blueberries, hemp seeds, lots of peanut butter, some pumpkin seeds, extra cinnamon, and of course lots of maple syrup.
For the base of her porridge, she's got 1 cup of oats with what I'm guessing is also oat milk and some added cinnamon, honey, and chia seeds for 493 calories. Then she adds a big variety of toppings. We've got about 40 blueberries for 28 calories, 1 tablespoon of hemp seed for 57, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter for 190, and 2 tablespoons of maple syrup for 104. So altogether, breakfast is just under 900 calories.
And I also love to top mine with some cold milk. I don't know if you guys do that, but that's the way my nan used to make it, and I love it that way. For lunch, I meal prepped some vegan egg and cress. I've managed to perfect my recipe to taste just like the veggie prep one used to taste like. Honestly, they are identical. I served mine in a bake-at-home sourdough baguette, stuffed it full of the tofu egg mix, and yeah, I enjoyed that for lunch. It was so
This no-egg tofu salad is made with vegan mayo, mustard, and a bunch of seasonings, and 1 serving is 248 calories, which she has with a part-baked sourdough baguette for 167. I know this is only the second person, but I'm curious if it's going to be a pattern of calorie-dense breakfasts and then lighter meals throughout the day.
dinner. I actually had leftovers of this delicious chicken noodle soup that I made, vegan of course. This is the perfect winter food in my opinion. It's literally packed with flavour, it's warm, comforting, it's got lots of veggies and protein, everything you could want on a cold winter's day. So delicious.
Again, I'm guessing she ate around half of what she's shown us to make this dish, so we've got half a white onion, half a carrot, and half a green pepper for 50 calories. Half of a shredded chicken breast is 140, plus 1 ramen noodle nest for 128 calories, and that's in a vegetable stock broth for 25. This looks like such a cozy, low-calorie dinner option, but I would definitely be adding some fresh buttered bread with mine. The total for the day is 1,630 calories, so this is a great day of food for someone aiming to lose about a pound a week.
This might be an unpopular vegan opinion, but I think that people want to be woke until it comes down to reevaluating what they eat. We have literal proof that mass production of animals is a huge contributor to climate change, yet when the topic of eating less meat comes up, there are all...
Sorry if some of these videos have a bit of a rant going on in the background. I'm not even gonna lie, it was quite hard to find ones that didn't. But I am genuinely not judging because I totally get that when you feel so strongly that something is morally wrong, it's hard to fathom how other people don't feel the same. This Planet Oat Milk is the lowest calorie option we've seen so far at 90 for 200 millilitres. She adds a splash of vanilla silk creamer to make this coffee 115 calories.
Excuses. And you know what? I'm gonna go there, but it's like something like AI comes up and they're like, oh my god, I'm gonna stop using it right away. It takes all this water. Baby girl, you don't...
Do I hate it when people use pet names to be condescending? Yes. Do I do it, especially when I'm in the car? Also yes. I am not even going to pretend to have a clue what the base mixture in this bowl is. She got it out the fridge, so my best guess is that it's a small serving of overnight oats for 250 calories. Then she tops it with a tablespoon of dark chocolate chips, 1 banana, and a tablespoon of peanut butter for 270 calories.
I want to know how much water meat production takes. In our capitalistic society, it's literally impossible not to contribute to suffering. So the way I practice veganism is just trying to cause the least suffering as possible. By the way, I also think it's strange that whenever I talk about this, people talk about indigenous community. Like, I'm not talking about them. I'm literally talking about mass production of meat. That is not an indigenous practice. Also,
the reason that I stopped being vegan after 3 years is because I realised it really wasn't the practice of eating meat that I disagreed with, but the cruelty of mass production in general. So I do agree with her that it's important as a consumer to make conscious purchases that feel morally aligned to you. But the issue I have here is that in trusting yourself to do that, you also have to trust that other people are making decisions that are right for them. And acknowledge that other people experience limitations that you might not. And that does include a lack of access to organic foods, whether because of price or location, and a lack of education about the need for better choices. So for lunch here, she has my kind of beige plate. We've got a jacket potato with oil and butter for 330 calories. Then with that, the 6 vegan nuggets are 220 calories and the vegan biscuit is 164.
veganism is literally practiced in so many cultures, so I don't understand when people say it's whitewashed or that it's expensive. Like, have you ever heard of rice and beans? My point is I'm showing you the vegan food that I eat, and vegan food should be more accessible. And yes, for me, it's accessible because I'm a white girl living in the year 2025. I don't know, this rant went all over the place, but I hope you guys are well. Thanks for looking at what I eat. See you tomorrow.
Okay, she acknowledged the privilege, but I still think the way to get people on board with something you think is important is encouragement, not moral superiority and criticism. She makes a sort of vegan chili with mince, black beans and sweet corn for 317 calories, and that is served over a 205 calorie serving of white rice and topped with 35 calories of vegan cheese. She ends the night with a Trader Joe's oat chocolate bar that is 140 calories, and I realised I forgot the little peanut date bar she had with lunch, and that was 160. Her total intake for the day is 2,156 calories.
Welcome back to another full day of eating as a vegan whose only goal with food is to feel good. I start most mornings with a herbal tea of some kind. This is a green tea and matcha tea and I just love it. I really notice that when I drink herbal teas regularly and consistently, I notice the biggest difference in my skin. It's just so much clearer. For breakfast, I had 2 slices of toast with 1 avocado, 2 vegan sausages, some chili oil, some pumpkin seeds, salt, olive oil and lime juice. And I also had a side of this sauerkraut.
For breakfast, we've got avocado on 2 slices of white bread for 438 calories, with 2 vegan sausages. They're usually vegetable based, so much lower in calories than pork sausages at only 90 each. She tops it with a teaspoon of chili oil for 42 calories, a teaspoon of olive oil for 40 and some pumpkin seeds for 18. She also has half a cup of sauerkraut on the side, which is very low calorie fermented cabbage for only 22 calories.
Avo toast with vegan sausages is one of my go-tos when I'm craving a savoury breakfast, and I loved it with the sauerkraut today for the added gut benefits, but also it just added that boost of freshness. This was so good. I also like to make sure that I'm getting my daily dose of vitamin D, and these turmeric shots have 100% of my daily intake, so they're perfect.
I know there are so many health benefits to turmeric, but I cannot stomach the taste, even when it's in a capsule. I do like the ginger hot shots you can get though, because nothing jumpstarts your day like the feeling of raging fire traveling down your throat and a fear to burp for at least an hour. One shot of this vitamin-infused juice is 60 calories.
Vitamin D is so important, especially when I live in Scotland and the sun just never comes out. For my mid-morning snack, I had this pink smoothie that you guys see me make every single day. It has bananas, raspberries, beetroot, sea moss gel and yogurt.
I also live in Scotland and she is not wrong. It gets warm, but it's never really sunny in a way that you could lay out and get a tan or something. You do get total daylight until 11 p.m. where we live though, which is super weird. This smoothie made with 1 banana, 1 cup of raspberries, half a cup of beetroot, 2 tablespoons of sea moss gel, which is red algae by the way, and some non-fat Greek yogurt is 311 calories.
And I did just post the recipe for the smoothie the other day because you guys have been asking. At lunchtime I had this rice bowl with sticky sesame, ginger, tofu, cucumber and edamame, and this was really good and really high in protein as well. I have a matcha almost every single day, so I had mine this afternoon just before I went to the gym to give me a little energy boost.
For this lunch bowl, she has 1 serving of white rice for 205 calories, half a cup of edamame beans for 110, and half a cucumber for 23 calories. 1 serving of tofu is 90, and I've added on 100 calories for the marinade as that has a sesame oil base. The matcha itself has negligible calories, but 250 millilitres of the Rude coconut milk is 145.
And I always have that brand of coconut milk, specifically the Rude Health one, because it has added calcium, which is super important as a vegan. For dinner, I made my butter chicken. This is one of my all-time favourite dinners. I did some garlic naans with it as well, and you can find that recipe on my Substack, and there is a video in my food folder as well. And right before bed, I've been making these Sleepy Girl mocktails with tart cherry juice, apple juice and magnesium.
We've added in another serving of white rice. The actual curry recipe is locked behind a paywall, so I found a similar one made with baked tofu, coconut milk and a whole bunch of seasonings for 569 calories, and a garlic naan bread with melted butter is 287. Finally, she has a cup of kombucha juice for 30 calories, so her total intake for the day is 2,875 calories.
Here's another what I eat in a day as a vegan gal, but work edition. Woke up, obviously I had to have me matcha, and in my travel mug I made a green tea. Packed up me lunch and then I started on my brekkie. Today I'm having Weetabix with warm oat milk, and I'm going to top it with frozen blueberries and peanut butter, but obviously I'm microwaving them. I had 3 Weetabix because I was a hungry girl this morning, and look at all this. What a good combo.
I love making these videos so much because I have always been put off frozen fruit because I don't really like to bite chili things. Tell me why I forgot that microwaves existed. Honestly, I have got so many food ideas written down in my notes, I can't even get to all of them. She's got 3 Weetabix here with oat milk for 300 calories, and that is topped with blueberries and peanut butter for 111.
I had a few comments about B12 on my last few videos. Don't worry, I take my vitamins and I'm all good. For lunch I had leftovers from the night before. I packed up this pasta salad with some pickled beetroot, hand jellies a must, and this was really tasty. I also prepped some grapes and dates the night before, and I had this.
For this pasta salad, she has a serving of normal pasta, half a red pepper, some sweet corn, a handful of spinach and vegan mayo. It looks pretty saucy, so I think about 3 tablespoons of mayo, which is bumping up the calories to 542. Then on the side, she has a pickled beetroot for 35 calories, about 20 red grapes for 70, and 5 medjool dates, which are 66 calories each.
Got me through my day. And it was Jake's birthday in the evening, so we had a celebratory Chinese. I had sweet and sour non-chicken balls, chips and curry sauce, chicken satay and some black bean tofu. We ordered from Vegan House in Pudsey, and honestly, I dream about this every day. Absolutely incredible.
This vegan Chinese shop is actually insane. They have well over 100 dishes. I have never seen anything like it. The dishes are all the same as a standard Chinese takeaway, except the chicken is swapped out for tofu, so I'm going to take about 150 calories off of each dish. She has 5 battered chicken balls with sweet and sour sauce for 325 calories. The portion of chips is 450 and the curry sauce is 300 calories. She obviously shared the chicken satay and the black bean tofu with her boyfriend, so for half of each it is 750 calories, and the day ends on 3,213 calories.
Typical what I eat in a day as an 8-year vegan. So this morning I woke up to my boyfriend asking me if I wanted waffles for breakfast, so obviously the answer was yes. To go with this, I made us some iced oat matchas with cinnamon and agave. If you guys have any good matcha recipes, please send them my way. I bought these tinned cherries from the supermarket and they are definitely giving olives. But could I be on something here? Savoury waffles with olives?
No, definitely not onto something there, sorry. Also, it might be an early judgment, but I generally prefer people that just film themselves going about their normal day, and this is very much giving curated Instagram aesthetic already, but let's see. For the matcha latte, we've got 96 calories in the glass of oat milk and 60 calories for the tablespoon of agave syrup. In vegan waffles, the 2 eggs are usually substituted for 1 banana, so the calories would be just under what a normal one would be, which is 436 calories for 2. For the toppings, we've got about 2 tablespoons of coconut yogurt, 7 tinned cherries, which I've never heard of before, a tablespoon of pistachios, and then another tablespoon of agave syrup, coming to 266 calories.
If I'm spending the day at home, I'll always have leftovers from the night before, which was this veg and bean chili on top of a roasted sweet potato. I am ashamed to admit I forgot the greatness of a sweet potato. It just tastes like I'm eating a hug.
Well, luckily for us, we already worked out the calories in a portion of vegan chili earlier, so we know it's 317 calories if it's made with vegan mince, black beans, and sweet corn. Then we've got a sweet potato for 130 calories, half an avocado for 124, and 2 more tablespoons of yogurt that I've also added into the total.
If that's even possible. Which leads nicely on to my coffee of the day, an oat latte, my favourite ever. I am kind of tempted to get a coffee machine, I'm not gonna lie. It would make me really happy. And then for dinner, we went all out with this Beyond Mince bolognese and this pasta shape. I don't know what it's called, but it's so good. One of my favourite dinners for sure.
You guys know I love me a good pasta shape, and this is actually my favourite non-standard one because it's called a giglione, and I just think it is so pleasant to say. Giglione, it just rolls right off the tongue. 1 serving of this is 198 calories. The Beyond Mince in the tomato pasta sauce is 350, and that has 20 calories of parmesan sprinkled on top, plus a quarter of a garlic baguette for 156. I always thought those were made with butter, but most shop-bought ones are actually vegan because it's just olive oil. Oh, and I almost forgot the latte, so that's an extra 100ml of oat milk added in, and a teaspoon of brown sugar for 17 calories. The total for the day is 2,652 calories.
Today I'm showing you what I eat in a day as a vegan. For breakfast, I had toaster waffles with almond butter, strawberries, and chia seeds, and an iced oat milk matcha latte. It's my favorite form of caffeine recently. It's so...
Toaster waffles are a lot thinner and less calories than the kind you do in a waffle maker. So for 2, it's 188 calories, plus 196 for a tablespoon of almond butter on each, and 20 for some chopped strawberries.
And then for lunch, I had tofu parmesan pasta.
I just realised that this is the same girl as in the first video because her food diaries are such a whirlwind. She has a matcha latte, and this dark blue carton is definitely the Oatly whole milk, so 200 millilitres is slightly higher than the others we've seen at 120 calories. This lunch looks interesting. I have never in my life seen someone eat a tofu just as a brick. 1 block is usually 400 grams, which is 304 calories. The portion of pasta is 198, then we've got a tomato and parmesan sauce for 120 calories, and finally a sprinkle of vegan cheese on top for 40.
It was much better than it looked. And for dinner, I made Panera Copycat broccoli cheddar soup in a baguette and Zevia.
The Copycat vegan soup is a recipe from the Healthy Girl Kitchen. It's made with nutritional yeast and cashews instead of the cheddar cheese, and obviously non-dairy milk, but everything else looks the same. 1 serving is 263 calories, and the baguette would be 182. The Zevia is a 0-calorie ginger root beer, so the day's intake is 1,631.
What I eat in a day as a vegan in Paris who does not calorie count or restrict or anything like that. So we started off at this fully vegan bakery called Land of Monkeys. This was so yummy. I was so excited. I literally wanted to order one of every single item, but I ended up picking a pain au chocolat, a croissant, and this marble cake and a chai latte.
Alright, I'll give you an extra one since I do always try and have 8 people, and 2 from the same person technically doesn't count. I'm going to regret asking this because I don't think I've ever been right, but please tell me it is pain au chocolat, not pain au chocolat, because I used to work in a bakery and I will be retrospectively cringing at myself for at least a year if I'm wrong on this one. Vegan pastries are similar in calories to the normal versions because it's super easy to swap in a dairy-free butter, though the egg replacement needed to swap for an egg is only 45 calories. But roughly speaking, the pain au chocolat would be about 350 calories, the croissant is 280, and a slice of marble cake is 400. A small chai latte would only have calories in the milk, so if we assume it's oat milk again, that is 70 calories. This girl is obviously on holiday in France, so this is not a normal day of eating for her, but we are already on 1,100 calories.
That's what I had for breakfast, and honestly this tasted so good. This is like the best pastries I've ever had since I've been vegan. I picked up some stuff to take away because I was cautious that a lot of the cafes in Paris don't have vegan options, so I was just carrying around a baguette and 2 pain au chocolats all day in case I got hungry. We had a little bubble tea, we stopped for a little Diet Coke by the Eiffel Tower.
The Diet Coke is obviously no calories. I'm not sure exactly what flavour she got, but for a generic medium bubble tea, it's 120 calories for the fruit syrup, 80 calories for the sugar, plus 130 for the tapioca pearls.
And then we stopped at this cafe near the Eiffel Tower and it didn't have any vegan options, so I got out my baguette that I bought that morning. So this was like a baguette with vegan cream cheese, pesto, tomato, spinach. It was really yummy.
I have no idea if this is just a me thing, but was anyone else taught that it's really rude to sit in a cafe and eat food from somewhere else? Like, I know people who are celiac that will bring their own bread to add to soup or something, but just cracking out a whole other meal at one of their tables feels really weird to me, and I've got anxiety just watching it. I was curious as to whether the French Fanta would be closer to the UK or the US in calories, and at 89 it is definitely Team UK. Pret has got a similar filled vegan baguette, so I've copied those calories at 562.
Had a Fanta and then ate my second pain au chocolat of the day. I don't know why this one was a funny shape, but it was still very yummy. We got ready for dinner and I had my third pain au chocolat of the day because I just could not, I knew it was in the room. I was like, I need to eat it. It tasted so good. We queued up for dinner. We got a reservation at Pink Mama, which is a very TikTok viral restaurant, which you can tell why it is really beautiful, but we did have to queue outside for like 20 minutes even though we had a reservation. I had a little pink strawberry mocktail as my drink, and then for starter we just shared some focaccia bread. They didn't have any olives and there was no other vegan starters, so we ended up just having this bread as our starter. And then for my main I had aubergine pasta with tomato sauce. This was the only vegan option. I was kind of hoping there would be like a pizza, but it was really yummy. Like, it was really good pasta. And that is everything I ate today in Paris.
I've added in 2 more pain au chocolats for 700 calories. I don't drink, so I am well versed in the land of mocktails, and not only do restaurants love charging the same as a normal cocktail, but they also love cramming them full of syrup so they end up being more calories. The average for one like this with fruit syrup is 150. Then we've got a portion of focaccia bread with 1 tablespoon of olive oil for 370 calories. I expected this pasta to be around 500, but I've learned that aubergines are oil sponges and French restaurants love oil. This specific restaurant doesn't publish its calories, but the same dish from other local ones are around 950 calories, which seems crazy for a pasta in a tomato sauce, but maybe it was the best pasta she's ever eaten. And that ends the day at 3,556 calories. And there we have it, 9 days of vegan eating. I think it's immediately obvious that in general there's way less processed foods and no junk food whatsoever. Interestingly, a few of these creators mention that they eat plant-based for dietary purposes rather than ethical ones, which is obviously the reason that people also eat keto, but overall the calories for these days were so much lower. I would be genuinely curious to hear how someone that eats keto or carnivore specifically for weight loss pitches it as more effective or healthier than these kind of lifestyles. I'll see you guys on Saturday for our regular mix of what I eat in a day videos. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss it.